Let's say you have the best piece of art in front of you, and it's your job to transform it in a meaningful way. No matter what you add or subtract, there is no way that your transformed creation is better than the original piece of art. Because the original piece of art was so close to perfection that changing it in any meaningful way has to result in a worse piece of art. Yet, we are transforming some of the best hero designs, Tracer, Genji, Ana, Winston, through perks, just for the sake of change. Let me be clear, I'm just talking about design. If these heroes all had a 40% win rate, they could be buffed just through changing any of these numbers. So please, don't ever use "my hero is useless" without that perk as an excuse for justifying a badly designed perk. So, a perked up hero is either worse or better designed than the same hero without perks. Or a perk is such a small change that it is not transformative and therefore does not impact the design. Like this Tracer perk, Chronal Dash, which just increases the blink distance. It could just be a buff in normal patch notes. Tracer has always been one of the highest skill ceiling heroes in the game, in multiple aspects, in terms of aim, movement and cooldown management. So let's look at the other Tracer perks. Kinetic Reload gives Tracer 12 ammo for each melee hit. It is a badly designed perk, because it de-emphasizes the importance of trigger discipline and just aim in general. The Blink Packs perk gives Tracer a blink for every health pack. It trivializes the decision of whether I get a health pack or use my blink to escape. Quantum Entanglement makes it less punishing to recall into a bad place, because you know you will always have 50 overhealth and an extra large magazine. So 3 of Tracer's perks reduce death and skill expression. Let's look at Zenyatta's perks next. Both his minor perks increase his survivability. The most interesting thing about Zen is how punishing bad positioning is and how valuable good positioning is. But with the Ascendance perk, he is immune to getting booped off the map or off the high ground, and he has less predictable movement when falling. Giving Zen this level of survivability completely kills his identity as glass cannon. His weakness in survivability and mobility is a crucial part of his identity. For both his major perks, they are neither a downgrade nor an upgrade design-wise. Sigma is supposed to be weak when another tank gets close to him. That is the entire point of him being a poke tank. But with the Levitation perk, he gets a way to easily keep his distance from ground tanks. He also was designed with 1 CC ability that is very slow and therefore easy to react to. But the Hyperstrike perk gives him counterplay against the heroes that have already outplayed him by getting close to him. There are a few perks that neither improve nor worsen the design, but that actually makes sense, because if a perk clearly leads to a better design, it should have been part of the base kit. This is why probably 70% of perks make heroes worse designed. This is why perks fundamentally do not fit into Overwatch. Because to actually make good design perks, you have to either purposefully design worse heroes so that the perks can improve the design, or perks must be not transformative and always have to be very small changes, which would defeat the entire point of perks. What Overwatch did instead was adding perks that worsen the design, since they cannot really improve the designs that are already complete. A game where upgrading heroes does fit into their design is Deadlock. At the start of a game, a hero feels purposefully incomplete. They only have 1 out of their 4 abilities. The entire game is about scaling your hero, and the hero is designed with that in mind. But in Overwatch, heroes are already a complete kit. Before perks, did anyone ever feel like Tracer's kit was incomplete, or Genji's, or Winston's? Also, side note, scaling does not fit into Overwatch, because there are no special mechanics in Overwatch to scale. In Overwatch, you just play the game like you always would, and at some point you for some reason just get a buff. While in Deadlock there are multiple mechanics that are specifically for scaling. Because the entire game is about scaling. So without having a single mechanic in Overwatch that is specifically for scaling, the scaling has zero depth, and perks kill good hero designs, which just takes depth away. The idea behind this video was to go deeper into my last and most subjective point for my last perk video. Let me address something that has happened since then. They put some perks into the base kit, which is fine if they generally think the hero is better designed after. But it seems like the Mercy community would rather keep movability than get flash heal into the base kit. What really shocked me though was the following from the dev blog. Not only did we look at the above goals from a balance perspective, but every perk added into baseline kits got a quality pass from our sound, VFX and or animation teams. They made sure these additions met the same quality standards we have for general hero base kits. End quote. Perks are part of the core game. So why is it okay that we have lower standards for perks in the first place? I have to interact with them every single game. They are not just in some temporary side mode. Whatever is getting put into the core game should have super high quality standards. Allegedly, players came back to Overwatch because of perks. But based on Steam numbers, it was just a short spike. And no one stayed because of them. In fact, perks increased the complexity of the game by an insane amount, which makes the game way less approachable. Compare the F1 screens from Classic 2020 to the current ones. A third of that screen is just perks. This added complexity could be fine if it would also add a lot of depth. But the depth of heroes is in their limitations and weaknesses, which perks tend to remove, and therefore remove their depth. The only good argument for perks is that it brings variety. But this is not a tag shooter, where we hold or tag the same spots on the map for 12 plus rounds. In Counter-Strike it makes sense to have better weapons later in the game to increase variety. But in Overwatch, the part of the map that is being played on constantly changes, which ultimates are available for the next fight keeps changing. So an Overwatch match already has a lot of variety, so perks are not really needed. But that is the only upside from perks that I agree with to a degree. Another argument people bring up for perks is that it brings back old abilities that players missed. Here we are basically just talking about Orisa's protective barrier and Bastion's Lindholm explosives. For Orisa's barrier, I thought the goal of the rework was to have fewer shields in Overwatch. And if that goal has changed, then why would we not add the shield back to the base kit, or add a new hero that is more similar to Overwatch 1 Orisa? For Bastion's Lindholm explosives, why can't we just have Overwatch 1 Bastion ult and keep the rest of the rework unchanged? Also, if something got removed or reworked previously, I would assume the devs had a good reason to remove it. But why would it be good now that the Nanobis target receives a speed boost, or that Sojourn Orb slows, or that Maze Primary Fire freezes, when we removed all of that previously? In the end, the only good argument for perks I have heard is that it brings variety. If you have any other arguments for perks, then please leave it in the comments. Also, if anyone defends perks, can I please get an explanation what exactly do you think is fun about perks? Because I have never felt any fun in them. Let me end this video with a comment which I feel like perfectly summarizes perks. Perks are an illusion of choice that actually makes us have less choices with our second-to-second playstyle.